Thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks. Thank you very much. Very kind of you. And I welcome to Kansas, the plant manager here. I asked him, I said, are you a native of this area? And he then said, East Texas is where that accent that you're seeing that from. But delighted to have you here, delighted to see everybody here, and delighted to see this taking place. I've got some state legislators that are here. Glad to see you guys as well. Give them a hug if you would. Being in the state legislature is a tough job. So, just tell them you like them. You don't have to agree with everybody all the time. Just tell them you like them. They'll appreciate that. These are tough issues that they have to wrestle with, and they don't get highly paid. But I appreciate them a great deal. This is about a 25-year project that we're doing. Jackie laughs. It's not a laughing matter to me. Jackie, I'm glad you guys are here, and I'm glad that this is taking place. Literally 25 years ago, I was Secretary of Agriculture, state of Kansas, group of people from western Kansas, mostly from Dodge, so you guys ought to thank the guys from Dodge, came to my office and said, we think we can be a big dairy state. And here's what we think we can do with this. And what we need to do is we've got to get one dairy to come here, and if we get one, we'll get 20. If we get 20, we'll get a processing plant. And I said, I met with them. That sounds pretty good. Yeah, I think we could do that too. I was a younger man at that point in time. They stayed focused. We have been able to build a dairy industry in the state of Kansas that has been amongst the fastest or the fastest growing dairy industry in America the last few years. It's been either the top or right at or near the top for the last few years. We've seen a number of people come to our state from various states, finding a great place to raise cattle and milk them right here. And they're saying, look, this is an excellent place to do animal agriculture, which it is. I don't think the High Plains, if there's a better place in the country, the semi-arid region that's here, the crop base that's underneath it, the forage base, and then always that gentle, pleasant breeze that freshens things up in western Kansas that's here to greet you often when you get to come along. So it just keeps things fresh in the area. It's also why we've got all these wind turbines sitting over here about to go out. We've got another 8 or 9 new wind farms going up yet this year in the state of Kansas. So we have a real expansion in that field as well. 25 years ago, they hung with it. They stayed focused on it. And today, Kansas is indeed the new dairy frontier. That's what we are as a state. We've been growing. We'll continue to grow. This processing plant is the next step forward on that so that there's a local market for it to be able to dehydrate the milk, keep the water in western Kansas, which we're always struggling and focused on doing as much as we possibly can. We've worked hard as a state to have a competitive regulatory environment and a competitive tax environment. Kansas is a prime location for this plant, and that's why I believe it is being built here. We've heard in the past from dairies interested in Kansas that a limiting factor is the proximity of a milk processing plant. That will no longer be a problem with this commitment, this building of this plant by Dairy Farmers of America of nearly $250 million investment in this area. Some of you I know in the room from a long time, and you remember some of you when the meat packers first started coming into the region. We were a big cattle feeding area. Some of the people in Garden City were some of the original cattle feed yard folks. And you remember, and you know the story about how they got started. And it was a big scale, and there were questions, and there were difficulties. But then the next feed yard came, and the next one came. But it wasn't until the processing plants came that then you had a local market, and your price for your cattle went up substantially because you had a local market for it, and it really concentrated a lot of the industry then. My hope and prayer is that happens with the dairy industry as well. Now to get a local market for much of the dairy that's built, that's milked in the area, instead of putting wheels under it, dry it, put the water back on the ground and keep it in the area, and send off the milk to far-flung markets around the world. It is doing what we do best, which is feed a hungry planet. This congressional district that we're in, the 1st Congressional District of Kansas, is the most productive agricultural district in the country. Nobody produces a higher value of agricultural products anywhere in America than the 1st Congressional District of Kansas. And that's quite an honor. When you look at a world that's continuing to grow, when it's growing in its economy, when people around the world are now at a point where they want to get a little protein in their diet, whether that's meat, some milk, other products, we want to be there to supply it. And we want to do it with a high quality, very good product that we produce on a competitive basis that we can ship anywhere around the world. This plant helps us do that. So I'm delighted to be standing in an old cornfield that will soon, this probably never had a flag planted on it before. Maybe there's been one on the tractor going by. I don't know, might have been. But it will soon be the location of a bright new dairy processing facility to take the next step forward in Kansas being a major dairy state in the United States and supplying that around the world. It's a good day to celebrate, a really good day. God bless you all.